kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the weekend?
Thought about going with OU soccer. They had their first scrimmage of the weekend or of the year, rather. Got to see my niece play. She was a starter, just got there in January. She's doing great. Had a couple of wins, didn't give up any goals, just scrimmage stuff, but that was a lot of fun to go
Are
watch.
is your OU soccer consumption about to go up? What 10,000%? Like
10,000%. I'm am about to be totally locked in on OU soccer, which is fun. It's cool. They got a pretty good group. They're improving drastically, so that was cool. OU baseball, they continue to roll. Kyle Northridge came in. They're playing the final game of the series as we do the show, but the Witherspoon brothers are dealing. Both of those guys absolutely have it going. 9-0 game one, 10-2 in the second game. Tons of offense. Um, this they are, and how about the crowd that showed up on Saturday? Had a huge crowd out there. Beautiful day. It was awesome.
this could be a dumb question, but why was the line so long? Was that before the gates had opened?
I think
Or were we log jamming there at the gates? Because if so, we let's be real,
we got to figure that out.
we
I
gotta
don't
figure that
know.
out.
It may have been people showing up to buy general admission tickets, and because the ticket window's right there by where you go in. I don't I don't know the answer to that question, but it's good to see a long line of people to get in, even if it's, we got to improve that a little bit. But it was a beautiful day. Park was packed, and it's obviously going to be a brutally difficult season this year, but I think we got a squad, man. Still undefeated.
They are currently in the top of the sixth. Sooners down 1-0.
Yeah, be
Be
fine.
fine. Rally, boys. You got it.
We're about to pour it on. About to pour it on.
You're turning into just Mr. Everything OU. I love it.
Well,
Little women's soccer report. You've been on top of the baseball stuff. We people do not worry. We're not ignoring Patty Gasso's group. We just kind of take them for granted because we know they're going to be in the picture for like we know they're in all likelihood going to the Women's College World Series. So maybe we're delaying our football guys talking softball stuff, but it's coming. Don't worry.
Now, I wasn't technically at the softball game, but from the soccer stadium, about every 4 minutes, you would hear the roar and see the LED start pouring on, like you knew someone just hit a bomb or whatever. So that was kind of cool to see from a distance. But you're right. I've been to OU baseball. I've been to OU soccer, women's hoops, and more men's basketball games this year than I've been to in a normal season ever. So I'm trying to show up and show out, Gabe.
Lead from the front, Ted.
There you go.
Who do you have as your the tip of the spear?
Tip of the spear,
The
the
tip of the
leading
spear.
edge of the movement.
That a
There we
boy.
go.
All right. Who do you have as your loser of the weekend?
I think the fake injuries are finally going to die in college football. We've heard a lot of talk about what they might do and what some of the penalties could possibly be. Well, the NCAA Rules Committee met and they've proposed a couple of things to help shut this thing down. If a guy has to go down with injury, now, if a guy is hurt, they can't really do anything. But what we've seen in the past is offense is going fast, ball is spotted for play, defense is in a scramble trying to figure out what their call is going to be, and someone gets the thumbs down and grabs a hamstring and goes to the ground. Well, the rule that's being proposed is once the ball is spotted for play, if a guy has to go down for an injury, the team will be charged with a timeout. If you do not have a timeout, you'll be given a 5-yard delay of game penalty. And I really think that's about all that they can do. Now, there was the proposal of people. I mean, I don't think it was a formal proposal, but we had heard talks of if a guy goes down for injury, he has to miss the rest of the series, or you can save that by calling a timeout. If those two things go in conjunction, I think that, well, even if just this rule change happens, I think that kills a lot of the reason people are doing it. But I think we're making headway. I don't think anyone's going to be upset with these rules.
I think everyone wants that stuff to go away. If and this is the thing, and you can apply a lot of this to a lot of different things in college football, but once you see someone else do it, you think it's okay. And if no one's doing it, we're all good. If no one's gaining any type of competitive advantage by taking advantage of the system with the fake injury stuff, then I think everyone will go, okay, we're all good. But everyone's got to get on the same page here.
Yeah, that's it. You're forced into doing it. If your opponents are going to do it to you every game, I mean, you can't just watch your team get bled down the field and, you know, stand on principles, whenever everyone else in the sport is doing it to gain an advantage. So hopefully that'll be the end of it. Now, they did propose some other things. We saw this, which was interesting. Bielema and Beamer in the bowl game with a little interesting exchange there. Proposal is if a returner does the T on kickoff, plays whistle dead instantly. It's done. Play is over. That's kind of been a symbol for some teams. Not everyone does it. Some do, some don't. Well, the proposal is that if anyone does it, the play is whistle dead at that moment instantly. So, that's an interesting one. And then another one, which I thought was interesting, is we all remember the end of the Oregon Ohio State regular season game, and under 2 minutes, if a defense gets a delay of game penalty, the offense has a chance to reset the game clock if they want to at the 2 minutes at the end of the half and 2 minutes at the end of the game. Another reasonable rule.
We'll call that the Dan Lanning rule.
Dan Lanning rule. And I've continued to say the thing I am most excited about with Belichick joining NCAA football is to see him loophole the hell out of the NCAA rule book and what the NCAA rules committee is talking about this time next year.
I cannot wait. Do you think there's going to be a moment where he has to explain to an officiating crew why he is right and they don't know what they're talking about? I'm anticipating that happening at some point, and it may or may not end up winning them a game.
Like a very calm Belichick with the cutoff hoodie explaining to a group of officials, like pulling out the rule book and to see right here, gentlemen, it's going to be fun, man.
One of the best gifts I've ever received, the NCAA rule book that you gave me that I still carry in my backpack.
Well,
if you run into me while I'm traveling, no matter what, I always keep it in my backpack just in case.
Things pop up every now and then, and you got to go to the documents. Let's go to the documented material and come up with the ruling here.
I love it. All right, let's get to my winner and loser. But first,
we are public rec guys. Now, I got the sweats on as we speak. The hoodies are awesome. Also a favorite of mine. Pants are great. Good looking stuff. Extremely comfortable. You go to publicrec.com. Use promo code OKBreakdown for 20% off. And you got to get some of the Public Recs pants. I love them. They've got the sweats. They've got the dress pants, which are great for golf. You can do anything. Wear them to work. They fit fantastic. They're also perfect for the golf course because you got to look sharp and be able to move well. And they've got the proprietary blend of performance materials, provides the perfect combination of breathability and stretch while still holding its form. Comfortable enough for the couch, sharp enough for the city. For limited time, you can get 20% off at Public Rec by using code OKBreakdown at checkout. Just head to publicrec.com, use code OKBreakdown. You're all set. And when they ask how you found them, be sure to mention our show. Helps us out. You upgrade to Public Rec and feel the difference.
And we are brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code OKBreakdown to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. You just pick more or less on at least two players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. And this week, this Sunday, I'm looking at the NBA board. Lou Dort more than 14.5 points, and Jalen Williams more than 5 rebounds against the Spurs tonight.
I like that.
Like both of those a lot. Prize Picks puts its members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When your picks hit, you can get your money in as quick as 15 minutes. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code OKBreakdown to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. My winner of the weekend, I'm going Deebo Samuel. It seems like he wanted to get traded.
Yep.
He's been wanting to get traded for a while there from San Fran. Seems like it's been like 2 or 3 years where he's been like, get me out of here.
Yep.
And it's interesting because his production has fallen off in that time. Are those things correlated? Maybe, probably.
Yes.
But he had just retrusted. That's not a word, Gabe. Requested. I tried to combine requested and traded into one word.
Well, there's always new words being added to the vernacular.
We have a habit of that on here.
We do.
But he requested a trade again after the season, and the 49ers have said, you got it, man.
Fine.
Sent him to the Washington Commanders, where vibes are high, feels like they're ahead of schedule. Youngest, most exciting quarterback in the league, and Jaden Daniels with what he just did in his rookie year. Got Cliff Kingsbury, stayed there to be the coordinator for another season. Deebo Samuel's got to be feeling pretty good about this, Ted.
Yeah, I think so. You mentioned Cliff Kingsbury staying there. He had a lot of options. He had, there were people that were interested in him interviewing as a head coach. He said, no, thank you. I think that tells you that he feels something special is brewing there in Washington. And, Deebo, a bit of a unicorn for an offensive player. Great wide receiver, but has such a physical build to him. 49ers used him, running the ball or in creative ways. And with what Jaden Daniels brings, and that's San Francisco doing it with, Brock Purdy, who's, he's fine and he can move a little bit, but he ain't Jaden Daniels. So, I think that it opens up kind of a whole different world for the Commanders offense and for Deebo. I don't know. It's they're getting set up pretty nicely, and I really like the way that they're building that offense around Jaden.
I'm really interested in seeing how Cliff Kingsbury uses him. I'm also interested, right? He's 29 years old. Can he get back to or close to back to the guy he was a few seasons ago? Because it's only a few seasons ago, he was one of the best players in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, sometimes a change of scenery is all you need for a little rejuvenation.
That's right.
So the Commanders are going to have Terry McLaurin and him. We'll see. I would assume they're going to add another piece, whether that's through the draft or go get another free agent, because they've got a window. And that's the interesting thing about this for Deebo Samuel is it kind of feels like San Francisco's window has shut with what they're able to build around with Purdy on his rookie deal. Washington is they're there. They know Jaden Daniels is that guy. They've got this window while he's on his rookie deal to pay all the guys around him and go for it. And
Yep.
they just played in the NFC Championship game. Now, that game did not go well for them. But they were there.
No
They're
one
ahead of
expected
schedule.
that before the season started.
No doubt. So you're going from the situation where it feels like the window has closed. It doesn't feel like there's a ton of optimism. The discussion is, okay, how much are you going to pay Purdy? What's that going to do to the roster and the dynamics, all that? And then you walk into this situation where it's nothing but optimism, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel like as a reset for Deebo Samuel, it's a really good situation.
Well, the value of the rookie quarterback contract it's the trump card in the NFL, right? And San Francisco had that with Brock Purdy, but that was an interesting one. I don't know that anyone organizationally, fan base, was ever like all in that Brock Purdy is the guy, right? It's like he's good enough for now while we can try and build everywhere else. It's a totally different situation with Jaden Daniels. They'd pay him $50 million a year this second, or whatever number you want to throw out there. I mean, that's how good he was early on. So, like, you're getting even more value right now off of that rookie deal because of like what his actual dollar value is, the going rate. So to cash in, I mean, and I don't know, do you know what Deebo's current contract situation is?
I think it's
That's a big factor in it too.
17 and a half.
And
And there are talks of Washington wanting to do an extension as well.
yeah.
So
And I would, it's almost one of those things where we'd love to extend you, but go earn it for us. Like, let's see how it looks because we know how it goes in professional sports, especially when guys start to near that 30-year-old mark. It's like, pay me, and then they relax, because the older you get, the harder it is to maintain that form. So if they have a happy and hungry Deebo Samuel in that offense with what they're building, it could be another huge year for him.
as back-to-back state championship winning head coach for the Bishop McGuinness Fighting Irish, Kenny Young, says, a hungry dog hunts best.
I was trying to figure out how they're better than we want them to be, was going to figure into this, but I learned a new quote from your coach. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah. Eat light, boys, because a hungry dog hunts best.
There we go. Beautiful.
I am excited to see how they use Deebo. He's you mentioned he's a unique player, and the league's more fun when he's healthy and he's out there balling. And I always use this term for football and basketball, like the gravitational pull that Jaden Daniels has at that position because of what he can do with his legs
Yep.
and how you have to play defense and take that into account. Like, I'm hoping it gets Deebo in some space and we get to watch one of the more entertaining players the last several years go do his thing. It's like, I'm just trying to be entertained here. I don't care if the Commanders are good or not. It doesn't matter to me, but I would like to see Deebo Samuel get back to close to that form from a couple years ago, because that dude, that is a fun football player to watch.
Whenever he first kind of burst out and they were using him all those different ways, like, there were a couple of plays that he had athletically. It was like, what in the hell did I just witness? Because he was totally built differently, really, than any other wide receiver in the NFL. Just a mutant. And hopefully they get the best version of him.
We'll see. My loser of the weekend. Thought about going with the Dallas Mavericks. Got a trivia question for you, Ted.
Okay.
There are two players in the National Basketball Association this year that have had more than 40 points, more than 5 rebounds, over 2 steals, and made over 5 threes in a game. Can you tell me those two players?
Uh, has that sounds like something SGA's done.
Incorrect. And this is the StatMuse stat. So if this isn't 100% accurate, blame StatMuse on X. That's their problem.
I don't know.
I gave you a hint with the Mavericks and almost making them my loser of the weekend.
Uh, I don't know. I haven't seen it. It can't be PJ Washington.
No, God, don't bring up PJ.
I don't know.
Two players that have had more than 40 points, more than 5 rebounds, over 2 steals, and made over 5 threes in a single game. Luka Doncic and Quentin Grimes. What do those two men have in common? They
Not
both were
good enough
traded.
for the Dallas Mavs.
They were both traded by the Dallas Mavericks this season.
Oh, that's
I don't know
awesome.
if you saw Grimes on Saturday night, but he went off for 44 in a very surprising win for the 76ers over the Warriors.
Wow.
Dude put on a show, and I saw Mavs fans on my timeline just going, seriously?
When it
Seriously?
rains, it pours. Just
Just
bring it on. Just bring it on.
my loser of the weekend, Texas wide receiver Isaiah Bond.
Oh.
Ted, in no world should you be mocked all over the internet for running a 4.3940.
No.
That shouldn't happen. Should not happen. That is blazing fast. But the day before, if you say you are going to break the combine record and run a 4.2 and possibly a 4.1, then people are going to make fun of you. And that is exactly what has happened to Isaiah Bond. I have never seen a person ridiculed and made fun of for running a 4.39 until this guy.
Yeah. The interesting thing about it is if a guy said he was going to run 4.5 but ran 4.7, it would be like, dude, what in the hell? Like, that's brutal. That's the same numbers here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's crazy.
He's like, if I'm feeling really good, I 4.1. But not only was he not close to the record, he was the ninth fastest wide receiver. And that's where I was sitting there going, and you and I, we both like Isaiah Bond a lot as a player.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not worried about it. I think he's going to have a long, successful NFL career. I think he's going to get drafted early. Like, I like the guy as a player. But I'm trying to figure out why he thought he had a chance at the record.
I, you don't think you're going to go run 4.1 at the combine unless you've run 4.1 previously, right? And if you've run 4.1 previously, you should never run a 4.4
Ever. And
under
that's where
any.
it's like you have to be consistently hitting 4.21, 4.22 over and over and over again in training to think you're going to have a chance at breaking that record.
I would think so.
Uh, and I think he said maybe he hit a 4.23 in training. He was like, yep, maybe he just thought the juices were going to flow and here comes 4.1. I don't know, but I
Oh, they were running 39 yards. Dang it. Tape measure was bad.
it's just funny. He's a really good player. He ran a great time, but every article was Isaiah Bond falls short of record prediction, blah, blah, blah. And like all these people on X were just making fun of him. You shouldn't be getting made fun of if you run 4.39. Just don't say anything. Just say, hey, I feel really great about it. We'll see what happens. Like, don't, he was absolutely convinced, said it with his whole chest 4.2, maybe 4.1 if I feel great. I'm breaking the record. Like it had almost already happened for him.
And you know what's so funny is in the NFL, which, the evaluation process, it's hard. You look for whatever signs you can, but you know as well as I do, if you are telling everyone you're going to go run 4.2 and you go run 4.4, and the guys in the NFL are going to be like, well, what's wrong? What is he just not focused? Has he mailed it in? Does he think that? Yeah, they're going to pick that apart every way that they can instead of just showing up, running a 4.3, checking a box, and moving on. I don't know. I wish I could say I hated it for him, but
Not only was he not the fastest guy at the combine, he wasn't the fastest wide receiver. It wasn't even close. He wasn't even the fastest guy on his team. Matthew Golden was the one that blazed the fastest 40 of all the wide receivers, which reminds you, Texas had some guys that could really run.
they did. And Golden came on strong the back half of the season too.
But you get up on the podium, and one of the quotes that Bond had was that what separated him from the rest of the wide receivers was sheer speed. Turns out,
Now,
not so much.
in like we all know though, like that that's just a snapshot. It doesn't mean that that statement isn't true. That when you get out on the field, that he actually is, the fastest of the group, or plays that way, or it translates onto the field. But if that was the thing that separated you, well, it puts you right in the middle of the pack now. So you just a guy?
I I just want to have that confidence in anything in my life that he had when he said it. I want that irrational confidence. If
Why?
I
So
could get that for the golf course, man, I would just be great. Like, yeah,
that'd
I'm
be
gonna go
good
shoot
because
68 today.
yeah, because whenever you go fire that, that 88 or 92, it's not going to be front page of the sports, and everyone across the country will be talking about it.
It's like, yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna be even today. I've never been close to even in my life, but today, yeah, it's happening. It's happening, guys.
I've been even through like 3 or 4 holes probably.
I was even through 5 holes in my last round, and then it just all.
You get so
I
nervous.
don't want to talk.
Right?
I
Oh my God, I'm
don't
even.
want to talk
I'm
about it,
even.
man. I don't want to talk about
Theoretically,
it.
I could break the course
I
record.
I did have a first this weekend in my golf career. Imagine the worst hole in one possible. Golf simulator, driving range, hole in one.
Counts.
Soft 8 iron from 150 yards.
Count it.
It
If
was.
someone asks you if you've had a hole in one, you just say yes. You don't mention that it was in your basement.
I have. I have the picture to prove it.
Oh, look at that.
Lie
Beautiful.
in the hole. Distance to pin 0 feet 0 inches.
Beautiful.
It made a rattling sound, and I kind of looked at my ceiling like, what the hell was that noise? And then I realized what happened. I was so excited. I immediately screamed, and my wife's like, "What's wrong?" I explained. She wasn't nearly as excited as I was.
That is awesome.
First one
First of many. The first one's the hardest. Did you see the guy that had 2 hole-in-ones in the same round
in
this
one
week?
round. Yeah,
Yeah. Awesome.
we're all. If anyone's watching golf this weekend, everyone's just trying to swing like Jake Knapp. That's. I'm sure that's the. I'm sure that's the thing that's happening around the country with golf this week. It's like, oh, if I just get it back a little more, I could swing nice and smooth like him. No, you can't. You can't do it.
I saw this video and it said me on the course. I think it was me on the course after birdieing the first hole or something. It's a guy skating, and then like the ice breaks and he face plants into the water and breaks the ice.
Oh, it's
Beautiful.
impossible. All right.